If you take a look at the agenda for a Nevada State Board of Nursing hearing, you'll see that a big part of the disciplinary matters that are raised are nurses who failed to pass a continuing education audit. So let me go over that briefly with you because there are two mistakes that nurses are making in this regard. Well, the first, I guess there's three. The two of them are overlooked, and the main one is the most obvious, which is, let's cover that first. You needed to do your CE credits. Now, the nursing board does not require you to submit evidence of taking those classes, but periodically they will audit you. And then you have to prove and go back X number of years to show that you did and have been taking those classes. So if you didn't take them, you could be in trouble and get disciplined by the board. It's a minor fine, but it's a public reprimand. So it's a big deal. Don't cut corners. Always do your CE and keep track of your records. I would recommend keeping not just the paper copies, but keep digital copies, and not only keep them on a computer, but if that computer crashes, you want a backup. So I would keep them on a flash drive. Now, there's two areas that nurses are getting wrong right now that I see all the time. One is there's a bioterrorism course that you have to take when you become a nurse. It's a long course, as I recall. I think it might be 4 or 6 hours. I don't remember exactly. But the statute says you have to keep records of that until you're audited. So guess what? If you took the class when you first became a nurse, let's say in 2010, and in 2023, you're audited to see if you took that class, you have to have a copy. I know it's a crazy rule. That's a long time to maintain a record, but I've had nurses disciplined for not having kept records. And the problem is you take so many classes from so many different educational centers that it's hard to remember back even a couple of years where you took that class from. So you've got to maintain that record. The next one now is nurses have to be aware that there is a cultural competency class that's required every 2 years or in between renewals. And you need to provide proof of that. So you need to keep that. So that's another one tripping people up. Now, an unclear policy, in my opinion, with the board is that if you are audited and found lacking, that they will give you a window of time, a grace period to take those classes. But most nurses don't realize that it is a grace period because, frankly, I don't think it's well spelled out in their literature that they're giving you extra time. But I've had two nurses in the last few weeks come in and say, I thought because I didn't take the class or couldn't prove it, I didn't know I could make it up. But, this is an issue. So there is a grace period they seem to grant, maybe 30 days after the conclusion of you not finding a copy, and you need to get on it and use that remedial period to take the classes that you might have missed. But again, bioterrorism papers for that class, you got to keep them forever. And on the cultural competency, it's a new requirement biennially. I think they say it that way, or maybe biannually. It's a biennial class. I think I'm saying it. So just make sure you take that class. And as always, keep really good records and back up those records digitally.